Good afternoon. Previous session we learnt about especially a new conservatives after 1815, especially the formation of the Vienna Congress. I mean, so all the European powers, so they were actually met at Vienna and they were draw the objects of Treaty of Vienna 1815. So then afterwards, then the same year, the following years, actually the fear of repression drove many liberal nationalists underground. Because actually what happened? So throughout the Europe, where and all actually the territories conquered by Napoleon Bonaparte. So in all those states, so once again the monarch was restored. And the same time, the fear of repression drove many liberal nationalists underground. See, there were secret societies sprang up in many European states to train revolutionaries and spread their ideas. Why? Main reason this is what? Because so once again in European countries or states, so the monarch was restored. So that's what to spread the new ideas. There were so many secret societies were sprang up in many parts of the Europe. See here the European states, many European states. So there were formed many of the revolutionaries, so the secret societies, and through these to train revolutionaries. What purpose they were established these societies? No, to train the revolutionaries and even to spread their ideas also. See, to be a revolutionary at this time meant a commitment to oppose monarchical forms that had been established after the Vienna Congress. Here, revolutionary means at the time meant a commitment to oppose the monarchical forms, especially so which had been established after the Vienna Congress. So, and go to fight for liberty and freedom. So now what happened? So when the monarchy were restored. So once again, actually the nationalists, the liberal nationalists, so they were actually start to fight for their liberty and freedom. See, most of these revolutionaries also saw the creation of nation states as a necessary part of this struggle for freedom. That is about the creation of nation states. So almost all. So all revolutionaries. So they also saw the creation of nation states as a necessary part of the struggle for freedom. So in this today we are going to discuss about so one of the individual was one of the brave revolutionary, so Italian revolutionary. So the name of the revolutionary was Giuseppe Mazzini. Giuseppe Mazzini. So Giuseppe Mazzini, he was an Italian. He was the Italian revolutionary. See, he was born in Geneva in 1807. He was born in Geneva in 1807 and he became the member of the society, especially which society? Secret society that's called as Carbonari. So in the beginning, so he was born in Geneva in 1807 and he was became the member of secret society, the Carbonari. it was one of the secret society. Understood now? So, Carbonary secret society ge join ಆಗಿರ್ತಾನೆ. See, as a young man of 24, he was sent into exile in why? Anybody can you guess the reason? See, in when he was in the age of 24, so ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಅವನನ್ನ ಎಕ್ಸೈಲ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಗಡೀಪಾರು ಶಿಕ್ಷೆಗೆ ಅವನನ್ನ ಗುರಿ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ ಮಕ್ಕಳು. So what purpose? So the main thing was that, see, in the age of 24, when he was a young man, so during that time only he was sent into exile. For why? See, actually in 1831, for attempting a revolution in Liguria, and he subsequently founded two more underground societies himself. ಸೊ 1831ರಲ್ಲಿ ಆತ ಲಿಗ್ಯೂರಿಯಾದಲ್ಲಿ ರೆವಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಆಕ್ಟಿವಿಟೀಸ್ಗಳನ್ನು ಅಟೆಂಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ದಂತೇಳಿ ಸೊ ಆತನ 24ನೇ ವರ್ಷದಲ್ಲಿ ಆತನನ್ನು ಗಡೀಪಾರು ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು. ಸೊ ಹಿಮ್ಸೆಲ್ಫ್ ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ he was founded so two more underground societies. Two more underground societies. So the one is Young Italy. So the founder of the Young Italy was Joseph Mazzini. So where it was established? No, it was in actually the Young Italy in Marseille. And the another one secret society. So the name of the secret society was Young Europe. Young Europe. So it was established in Bern. See, these two were the secret societies which were founded by or established by Joseph Mazzini. So one was Young Italy and another one was Young Europe. So actually here the whose members were like minded, the young men from so those who are so the same, those who are thought the same and the same mind, so especially about the nation states and all, so they were all so the same minded young men from the different countries such as Poland, France, Italy, and even the German states also. So they were all became the members of these societies. ಯಾಕೆಂದ್ರೆ ಮಕ್ಕಳ ಒಂದೇ ತರಹದ ಯೋಚನೆ, ಒಂದೇ ತರಹದ ಗುರಿ, ಒಂದೇ ತರಹದ ಆ ಒಂದು ಆಲೋಚನೆ ಐಡಿಯಾಸ್ಗಳು ಇರೋರಷ್ಟೇ ಒಗ್ಗೂಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಅಂತಹವರೇ ಈ ಒಂದು ಯಂಗ್ ಇಟಾಲಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ಯಂಗ್ ಯುರೋಪ್ನ ಸದಸ್ಯರಾಗಿರ್ತಾರೆ. So Mazzini was believed that God had intended nations to be a patchwork of the small states and kingdoms. So this is what the Joseph Mazzini was believed about the nation. So what he was believed? No, that God had intended nations to be the natural units of mankind. Natural units of mankind. According to Joseph Mazzini, he was believed like this about God had intended nations to be the natural units of mankind. So Italy could not continue to be a patchwork of small states and kingdoms. It should be a state. It should be a nation. It should be a nation state. So actually Italy could not continue to be a patchwork of small states or kingdoms. See, it had to be forged into a single unified republic within the wider alliance of the nations. So, following his model, the secret societies were set up in Germany, France, Switzerland, and Poland also. And even so, the Mazzini's relentless opposition to monarch and his vision of democratic republic so frightened the conservatives. So about his idea, about his thoughts, about his vision about the democratic republics, so all the conservatives, so they were frightened. So especially the Duke Metternich, who was the Chancellor of Austria, so he was described Joseph Mazzini as the most dangerous enemy of our social order, the most dangerous enemy of our social order. So then we can imagine how the Mazzini was described by the Austrian Chancellor Duke Metternich. And that was very clear that Duke Metternich was understood that because of his democratic ideas, so he was too dangerous of our social order, especially for monarchs and conservatives. So that's what Duke Metternich was described Joseph Mazzini as the most dangerous enemy of our social order. Then we can understand about the role of the revolutionary activities of the Joseph Mazzini because it was described in this way by Metternich. So please keep in your mind Duke Metternich, he was described Joseph Mazzini as the most dangerous enemy of our social order. I got it now. So this is about a brief explanation about Joseph Mazzini. So once again, I would like to repeat. So Joseph Mazzini was the Italian revolutionary who was born in Geneva in 1807 and he was became the member of one of the secret society which was called as the Corbonary and as a young man of 24 he was actually sent into exile also in 1831. So for what? So for attempting a revolutionary activities in Liguria and afterwards so he was subsequently founded the two more underground societies which named as Young Europe and Young Italy. So here the same the whose members were like same minded. So there were men from Poland, even the France, Italy, and German states. So they were become the members of these secret societies. Okay, and even the Joseph Mazzini, so he was believed that God had intended nations to be the natural units of mankind, natural units of mankind. So Italy could not continue to be a patchwork of small states and kingdoms, and it had to be forged into a single unified republic within the wider alliance of nations. So, following his model, there were so many secret societies were set up in Germany, France, Switzerland, and Poland. So, Mazzini's reluctant relentless opinion, so I mean the opposition to the monarch and his vision of democratic republic. So there's a frightened the conservatives, especially Duke Metternich. So he was described the Joseph Mazzini as one of the most dangerous enemy of our social order. Now let us discuss about the age of revolutions between 1830 to 1840. The age of revolutions between 1830 to 40. See, as conservatives regimes tried to consolidate their power, the liberalism and nationalism came to be increasingly associated with the revolutions in many regions of Europe, such as the Italian and German states. Understood now. And even the provinces of the Ottoman Empire also, and even the Ireland and Poland also. Are you getting? So, as conservatives, regimes tried to consolidate their power. At the same time, liberalism and nationalism came to be increasingly associated with the revolution in many regions of Europe, such as the Italian and German states, and even the provinces of the Ottoman Empire, and even Ireland and Poland. See, these revolutions were led by the liberal nationalists. Okay, so those were belonging to the educated middle elite class. So the most of the revolutionaries, so they were all so the educated class people, especially educated middle class elite people. So especially almost all the revolutionary activities were carried by these educated class people. So here these educated class elite, it was among whom were professors, school teachers, clerks, and even the members of the commercial middle classes. They were aroused as the educated middle class, and also they were involved in the revolutionary activities in the different part of the European states. Are you getting now? So here the revolutions were led by the liberal nationalists belonging to the educated middle elite class. Educated middle class elite. So, especially among who and all there? So, professors, school teachers, and as well as clerks and members of the commercial middle class people. See, the first upheaval took place in France in July 1830. See, when the Bourbon king who had been restored to power during the conservative reactions of after 1850. We came to know that. So, according to the Treaty of Vienna Congress or the Treaty of Vienna 1815, so that was actually restored the Bourbon kings dynasties once again in France country. So they were now overthrown by, were actually established by the conservatives, the Bourbon dynasty after the 1815. So once again they were so overthrown by liberal nationalists. Liberal nationalists. So then after what happened? So those the liberal revolutionaries, so those who are installed a constitutional monarchy with Louis Philippe at its head. So actually under the constitutional monarchy, Louis Philippe, so he was became a head of the state. See here, during this time, Duke Metternich he was actually remarked about the France country like this. When France sneezes, Duke Metternich, so once he was remarked, when France sneezes, the rest of the Europe catches cold. The rest of the Europe catches cold. That means whatever happened in the France are going to be happened in the France country, that actually going to be influenced throughout the European countries. So that's what this was understood by the Duke Metternich, and it was remarked like this: when France sneezes, so the rest of Europe catches cold. So it was remarked like this about the France country. See, the July Revolution sparked the uprising in the Brussels, which led to Belgium breaking away from the United Kingdom of the Netherlands. Now, what happened? So, during the July Revolution, sparked an uprising in Brussels, which led to Belgium breaking away from the United Kingdom of the Netherlands. So, an event that mobilized nationalist feelings among the educated elite across Europe was the Greek War of Independence. It is one of the remarkable the events which was taken during this time. That is about the Greek War of Independence. So here the people, so they were mobilized, especially the nationalist feelings mobilized by the educated class people, and finally Europe across the European country, and finally with the war, that is about the Greek War of Independence, the Greeks, it is declared as the independent state. See, Greece had been part of the Ottoman Empire since the 15th century. Greece actually it was had been part of the Ottoman Empire since the 15th century. We know that the growth of revolutionary nationalism in Europe sparked off a struggle for independence among the Greeks, which began in 1821. Which began in 1821. See, the nationalists in Greece got support from the other Greeks, those who were living in other parts of the European countries also. So why? Because no, especially the many of the Greeks, so they were exiled, and also from many West Europeans who had sympathies for ancient Greek culture. We used to call know that we are of you very well. So the Greece is there, no. It was used to call as the cradle of European civilization, the cradle of European civilization. ಅದರ ಅರ್ಥ ಸೊ ಯುರೋಪ್ನ ನಾಗರಿಕತೆಯ ತೊಟ್ಟಿಲು ಅಂತೇಳಿ ನಾವು ಗ್ರೀಸ್ ನಾಗರಿಕತೆಯನ್ನು ಕರಿತೀವಿ ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ಲೈಕ್ ದಿಸ್ ದ ಫೀಲಿಂಗ್ಸ್ it was actually mobilized by the nationalists, and even those who were settled out of the Greece also, so they were all carried these ideas. Understood now? See, the poets and artists, they lauded Greece as the cradle of European civilizations, and even so, they were mobilized the public opinion to support its struggle against a Muslim empire. So during that time, since up to 15, since 15th century, so the Greece was under the control of the Muslim empire. So the English poet Lord Byron organized a funds and later went to fight in the war also, where he died of fever in 1824. Then finally, dear students, the Treaty of Constantinople of 1832 recognized Greece as an independent nation. So why? Because this is all contributed by, and the nationalists of the Greece, they were mobilized the feelings of the people, and they were actually became a successful to gain freedom against the Muslim empire, that is about the Ottoman empire. So now after what happened, so even one of the English poet Lord Byron organized a fund also, and later he went to fight in the war also, and he was died of a fever in 1824. Then finally, dear students, the Treaty of Constantinople of 1832, so it was recognized Greece as an independent nation. Are you getting now? The next class we are going to learn about the romantic imagination and national feelings. Thank you. Have a nice day.